I just turned on my fans and the dehumidifier um, while we wait for this temperature to drop. Uh, right now we are at 53% humidity. I have to wait for it to drop before I can start oscillating the fan. Um, because with the oscillation, it's hitting parts of my apartment that I am not certain I've cleaned 100%. So with the oscillation, there's always the possibility um, it's hitting untouched mold spores. So we're gonna wait for humidity to drop. My silica beads are in the oven recharging, and then pretty much I can't go outside until I get humidity under control. So right now the sounds is so loud because I have a HEPA filter running. That's one of my fans, is a big HEPA filter. Um, I'm contemplating putting HEPA filters behind my little fans just for extra mold spore catching protection. One of the reasons I have to sit inside my sealed tight apartment, I actually seal under the door uh, because I want to drop humidity as quickly as possible. Um, Outside air affects the amount of time that I'm able to do that. It happens much quicker if I close all the windows. Um, the main part of it is it's extremely dangerous in here when humidity is over 50%. So right now is a dangerous time. I would say we're red alert. If we want to have that followed with some smart home, whatchamacallits, let's see. There we go. Here we go. We got red alert on the smart home motherfucking, uh, and that is done with this item right here. This a cube. And if you want to talk about things, my smart home, I have to disconnect it when I work because I have knowledge that some of these devices, even if they're on separate networks, if somebody is smart enough, they can get into it. So when I am working, my smart house gets disconnected so that I'm only working. Um, and then what else? For that very specific reason, I work also with a green screen because of the number of cameras in my apartment. I have to put up a green screen to keep the cameras from being able to see what it is that I'm working on. Whereas I know there's other people out there who may or may not even consider those things. But those are all things I consider because I want to protect the safety of the place I'm employed at while protecting my job. And then whether or not this is like all of this is designed and intended to make me look crazy. So I'm still unsure if I believe that any of this is real or truly possible. I do believe a lot of this comes from or is created by people who scour social media for everything that they can find out about you. And then they try to use it to socially engineer more methods of finding out information about you. So, like, you might meet somebody and they'll come and pretend that they have the same favorite habit, what do you call it? Hobby of knitting and crochet as you, and then get you to have a 2 or 3 minute conversation with them in which they ask you other leading questions about your life. While under the guise of making it look like you have a special interest. Because at this point in my life, the only people that I really communicate with are special interest people, solely because of the fact that it's a lot harder to lie about special interests. Like, either you're really interested or you're not, and that's the easiest baseline for me to tell if a person is the kind that lies, just to make communication. So right now, we're going back. This is a purple light. I didn't get all my purple lights, but the fan's on at least. There, purple light. And then we can go back to clear light. So like, it's so funny to me. That's not clear light. That's TV. Here we go. Clear light. It's so funny to me that I got all this going on in my house, and there's people out there trying to portray a narrative of me being a crazy crackhead. That's hilarious. I want to see the bottom of my feet. I walk barefoot. I'll show you. I walk barefoot. It's not the cleanest, but I walk barefoot in my house. You know, I could clean a little better. That's just like dust right there. That's probably, I don't know. Clean my feet a little bit. I'm showing you everything, just so you know. My feet are dry because I'm dehydrated. Right? There's a little dust in the house. Not dirty. But I will tell you, back when I was being overtly stalked and harassed, there was a day I came home, and because I take off my shoes, I'm half Japanese, take off my shoes every day I enter, and I noticed my floors were completely black. Maybe that is mold. Maybe that was created, a situation in which they created mold on my floor. I don't know if it was I think it was a dust. When I think back now, and things that I've heard or seen, whether they're designed to make me mental and talk about things that are not true, or just like go off on all the places where I could take it. From what I had heard, graphene is something that is used, like graphene powder. So they would put that, they go and they put that all over all your shit. So for me, I came in and it was a very soot-like substance all over my floor. And that required graphene, not arphine. Anyway, that required a tremendous amount of cleaning. The stuff on my floor is the reason why there's not a single dog hair in my apartment. And I had my dog here for 8 years. So that's how clean I've cleaned. That's how much I've cleaned my apartment. Enough so that any black charcoaly soot is non-existent. There's no more. I'm able to walk around, and that's from walking around between last night and this morning. I washed my feet last night before I went to bed, and then that's between last night and this morning, just walking from. I even have gone outside and put on like my sandals, so some of the little specks could be from my sandals or walking outside. But that, I say all that to say, I wonder if I took pictures of my feet when they had put the graphene in my apartment. Not only in my apartment, they did it in my car. And I had pointed out that that's vandalism, and they didn't do it again. So I don't know how much of this you guys are just going along. You're waiting for me to identify these things. If I don't notice them, then you think you can get away with more, right? Like back in the beginning when this first happened, around the time of the graphene, maybe before, maybe slightly after, I remember cleaning off every single speck of anything until my kitchen was entirely white. There's not a speck of coffee, fruit juice spill. There was nothing. And that wasn't that long ago. That was within the time of this harassment. So anything that appears right now on my cabinets, I should know exactly what it is. Like, oh my gosh, I spilled acai juice here and I never cleaned the cabinet. Or that comes from when I dropped the coffee grounds and there's a bunch of fucking like coffee splatter on this right here. I was trying to throw away the coffee and I got it by the door by the trash can. So I can tell you exactly where every single spot in my kitchen comes from. And that's how I have the ability to notice mold. And with that being said, you guys should have known that this was not going to work on me and this was all going to go bad. So another thing I noticed is anytime I do have them come and do work here, there's somebody with sticky black fingerprints. Somebody comes in with a sticky black fingerprint, and it's like a tarry subject. I saved one of them. That may be the reason there's mold in my kitchen. We're going to have the county test it. And I can tell you exactly where it came from. That came from when they were trying to install a water heater that they knew would not fit. Right? Because they're dying so bad to give me roaches, which I've already eradicated. They're dying so bad to give me mold, which I've already found out how to get rid of. So no. Right? I think this will be a very funny situation If they are creating damage in the interior parts of the building that are not accessible through my apartment in order to make it look like I'm the problem. So again, let's go discuss these things. Overflowed my bathtub, waited 12 hours before they did anything about it so they could try to make it look like the damage came from me. Why would they do that? If they have the intention of really killing me, they're going to try to, what, sue my estate because they think I have money? There's no money. This all the fucking money you're gonna get, you dumb fuckers. And it's used. Nobody wants this shit. You want this shit? So there's no estate. You're gonna damage an $8 million building and not even get $8 back. That's funny, right? So I guess the next point now would be for me to get some kind of amazing settlement or like some super cool job that pays me a lot of money, so then they can go and try to attack those funds because that's how they operate. So let's talk about the New Mexico DWI investigation, because that's how I had my brother pulled off the bus. That's where he was. I wonder if any of those officers are the same officers that pulled him off the bus. And maybe they had a discussion with him as a former felon prisoner to see if they could get him to pay into their program. So I wonder if we can get my brother's name on the same paperwork as any one of those officers, everything that I'm saying sounds so much more believable. So what is it? It's like 13 officers. I just got to find one piece of paperwork with my brother's name on it and one of theirs. His name's Leon Anthony. If you're out there and you want to help me. And then I think that puts him into a RICO conspiracy, and that rolls this up into a larger RICO conspiracy. So, did the New Mexico officers fuck this shit up for the whole entire network? Or was it me with my knowledge and ability to pull my brother off the bus with a fucking number that was on a bus door? Why do you do this to people who could fuck your shit up? Because you're so confident that you control everybody? Like, I got an email the other day that was designed to make me think about bad shit that I've done, which I haven't done, so it didn't work. Okay, so here's how it works. You'll get like prompts. What I call them prompts from the universe. It's prompts from someone around you, whether it be TV, an influencer on YouTube, your own parents, conversation with somebody somewhere around you, and they'll give you a keyword. In this instance, the keywords were check your spam folder, right? And that came from another targeted individual. She was mentioning things about checking your spam folder. So going with the universe, of course I checked my spam folder, and not too many days ago I had an email that said, this is so and so from whatever crime group, and we've compromised your Amtrak account, and after doing so we found you're associated with these porn sites and this stuff. None of that's true. I don't watch porn. I don't need to watch porn. I have been fucked my whole life. I have enough memories in my head of getting fucked that I will never ever need to watch porn in my life. If I ever did watch porn, if there's ever any searches for porn on my phone, I can tell you specific years that it happened and who was the one that had me search for it. And the only times it was ever done, it was in their presence. I've never been, I will say, with the exception of when I first started using AOL. Back when I was a kid, I did look for that type of shit. That was when I was in the GATE program too. So between AOL ending and my adulthood, right? Like my use of Facebook and such, from the time that I got, let's just go Facebook forward. From the time that I got Facebook forward, there should not be nothing. Like, and like I said, the only time Pornhub was ever looked at or viewed was with a person that I was dating, and he has an abnormal addiction to that type of shit, which I feel is the same as a lot of you guys, which lends towards your network. So when you send me this spam email saying that you think I'm doing these certain things, you should really fact check that, or somebody's using one of my networks to do that shit, and it's not me. Um, like I found Wi-Fi. The reason I disconnect my Wi-Fi, especially when I'm at home, Wi-Fi is used by these groups to carry out their nefarious dealings. So the only time I plug my Wi-Fi in is when I leave my house, so I could let you guys play around with the cameras, and maybe hopefully I'll get you guys doing some stupid shit. That's it. I have Wi-Fi for the sole purpose of catching a criminal. My house is a smart home for the sole purpose of catching a criminal. Do you want to keep playing with me still? This is the most comments I've had in any of my videos. You must really not want me to talk about it. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Let's check humidity. We're back down to 50%. I can start moving around again. I'm gonna make some breakfast. Gonna make a smoothie. Oh, another thing I wanted to say. I just used the restroom and I haven't had too much to eat in a couple days. I'm pretty used to how my excrement smells because I've been eating just the same simple stuff for quite a while, like tangerines and seaweed, pretty much the only thing. And yesterday when I was at Home Depot, this is a funny story I wanted to tell. I got Otter Pops. I had been thinking about Otter Pops for I don't know how long. And then I was going to go to Ralph's and just get the regular little box of them like I'm used to, nostalgia. That's one of the things that I don't read ingredients on. I don't really care because it's something I enjoyed as a kid and I'll enjoy it as an adult. So before they froze yesterday, we'll do the whole story. I got them at the door when you first walk in Home Depot. I proceeded to walk around Home Depot for about 30 minutes while I was looking for a very specific fan. Home Depot didn't have the fan, but while I was at Home Depot, V2K was also there, and they said they are going to say that I stole the fan from them. To which I answered, I'm gonna just go to the Glendale store and buy it from Glendale. Why would I steal a fan that I just paid for? I don't have two of them. I got a receipt for the one that I do own. And it's so large, it's not an item you could just walk out with. But anyways, so we'll ignore that V2K. I proceeded to walk around the store because the store said that they had limited stock, but 2 employees told me they didn't have it. And I know that Ryobi products are kept in several different areas. And Home Depot is not even a store I'm supposed to be shopping at due to my beliefs surrounding racism and the people and players. But I will say the reason I do shop at Home Depot is because I own stock in Ryobi. Ryobi is the main reason, the only reason you will ever see me bring my ass in there is looking for something like, I won't say okay, I take it back. But I will definitely do my best to try to go to other places like Lowe's. I can't even say Target. I'm not supposed to shop at Target either. But I'm conscious of these things. So I try my best to avoid shopping at these places unless it's absolutely necessary. So I don't see anything bad with the company. It is just off principle alone. But I do like Home Depot as a company. I don't see them as like outwardly racist. And I think that the employees there, from what I've seen, enjoy their jobs. They have good work-life balance. They don't look like complaining people that you run into in other places. So I do think that Home Depot is amongst one of the better employers, regardless of what people have to say about them. And the reason that they have me as a customer is for these products. One of the only reasons, because they're exclusive. Ryobi is exclusive to Home Depot for most things. A lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that's exclusive at Home Depot. While you can get it online, most of that stuff came from Home Depot. It's like a Home Depot purchase, return, and then it's resold on a pallet to somebody else to sell it to you. So anyways, I go there for my new in-box Ryobi products. And as a stockholder, I go in, if I can't find the product I'm looking for, I'll still walk around the whole entire store to see the products that they have available, the condition. I'm just doing work for a company I have stock in. So After I go through the store for about 30 minutes, I forgot I had put the Otter Pops in my basket, and I just walked out the store thinking I didn't get any. Oh, I didn't buy anything. I didn't get the thing that I came there for. So I walked out the store, and then what did I do? I stopped, outside the store, and I looked at my shopping cart. I said, "Oh shit, I didn't pay for those." So then I walked back in immediately, and I paid, it's like $12 or something for a box of extra large Otter Pops, abnormal from the normal ones. Like, I couldn't pass it up, right? Whether this beast that knows me so well knows that's what I'm gonna do, or this is just, see, how do I do it? I'm not paranoid. I am presenting possibilities. I don't think revolves around me or involves me, but I find it funny that the things that I mention, as if it were like, that's where I think people misunderstand me. I make my statements and claims in a manner that is attention grabbing. It comes from my English class, where they teach you to start out with an attention grabbing sentence when you're writing your paragraphs and stuff. Like, I remember going to school. So when I talk about things, I think about the best way to grab people's attention. And I try to do so without lying by presenting factual information. And if people have if they think of you as a certain individual, so like if they think of me as a schizophrenic, paranoid person, they're going to watch what I say with that. So they're going to see it as, oh my gosh, this girl thinks everything's about her, everything has to do with her. But the funny thing is when it actually does. So, but we'll keep that out. And because that's the stuff that will make somebody look crazy. So I'm going to say I'm not crazy. I don't. But deep down in there is something where I think, well, a lot of this stuff has something to do with, like, Netflix and re-releasing Little House on the Prairie. Who was behind re-releasing Little House on the Prairie? How long have I been talking about Little House on the motherfucking prairie? Right? So much, long enough, and so much so that Netflix has decided that based on how many people are following and harassing me, they stand to make a good amount of money off of the crowd that knows about me, that doesn't know about Little House on the Prairie. So they're going to get a whole new generation of people, the stalker generation of people, watching Little House on the Prairie, and maybe they will understand some of my point of view. Like, some of those kids were mean as fuck, and they had no technology. You can still be mean as fuck without technology, right? It's so much more fun that way. Like, you will really die. It's not like we're trying to make her go mentally insane. No, you will really die. So Little House on the Prairie is one of those things where I'm like, it's not directly related to me, but I don't know anybody else in the last 10 years who is so in love with Little House on the Prairie as I am. Maybe. Oh my gosh, is somebody on my page trying to shit talk me? You can leave. I don't know if I'm misunderstanding. Girl who actually asked, like, oh my gosh, are you guys arguing within my comments? Thank you, T-Money, go! But anyways, there is the reason that I say all this is because there is a slight possibility that this is true. There is a slight possibility that I am an influencer and I have zero clue of how many people I'm influencing because of the fact that I don't let people follow me. I don't want you to follow me to slaughter. I don't know where I'm going. I could be, something could happen to me any day now, any minute, right? Somebody followed me from outside into my building, waited in the lobby, waited for me to get into my apartment, waited for me to get comfortable, and then they came and walked up to my door for no reason to instill fear in me. I'm not fearful, bitch. I'm the one you should fear. But anyways, I'll continue. That is why we're here. You do fear me, but you fear me because you've done enough things to me to be fearful. So it's a double-sided sword. Like, people who haven't done anything to me to be fearful are not fearful of me. That's how I get along. But anyways, so I go back in, pay for the Otter Pops, leave. And then get the Otter Pops home. Oh, I had to go to the Glendale Home Depot to pick up the product. Glendale Home Depot is A plus tits, super fine. Even got an extra $20 off. I didn't ask for it even, but that's how good they are. And it was because the box had been dropped. I asked, "Oh, is everything okay inside of there? It looks like the box was dropped." He said, "Yeah, it's just a little damage on the outside." And because of my knowledge of these being tools, right? Work tools. Like, I'm gonna drop that shit myself, so it doesn't matter. Regardless of the damage on the box, I'm gonna take it. And the man was so nice to be like, "I'll give you a discount just because of that. Thank you." So he saved me $20 over the store that wants to. Who knows if they had it or not? I know that store has to deal with theft a lot, but the box for that item is so large. I think the only person who could have stolen it is an employee. And I want to say the difference between the two stores. Limited stock. Your stock calculators are very accurate. They're only ever off when people steal shit, right? So them telling me that they don't have it is one of two things. Either somebody, well, it could be many things. Somebody really stole it, but there's so many more convenient fans to steal. An employee stole it, which is the most likely to me, and which is why they would have told me, we're going to make it look like you stole it. We're going to tell them you stole it, right? So that makes the most sense to me. And then the other one is it was just somewhere in the store and nobody knew where it was. It couldn't be found. But I also don't believe that because also I do know that each situation could be different. But I've gone into that particular Home Depot, and this is the reason why I still shop at Home Depot, is because they're very good. It's a very good store to shop at. Like, if they have something in stock, but it's on the 10th shelf, they will close down the aisle. They will get the forklift. They will pull it down for your ass. It's just you have to wait for it. Home Depot is excellent about that. So I can't say if it's this particular Home Depot, which I think it is now after going to the Glendale one and getting tits fucking service, A plus 10 all around. So good. I want to call the number on the receipt and make sure I give them good feedback. Compared to the one out here, there's criminals in the one out here. If stuff's getting stolen like that, of that size, you have a internal crime problem at your store. It's the location. The location being Hollywood. Hollywood's the problem. There's a lot of crime in Hollywood. Who's paying for the crime? The elite? That's where it becomes so convoluted. Is this a conspiracy? Is it not a conspiracy? So anyways, if V2K is telling me they're going to tell whoever that I stole it, that leads me to believe that particular Home Depot is part of this conspiracy, or at least the employees in it are part of it. That whole store needs to be broken down from top to bottom and have every single person looked at. Because it was not the same for the Glendale one. Got you guys fucked up. The Glendale one is what lets you know what the standard for service should be. Not only that, I go to Home Depot all over. If I can't find something at one, I'm gonna go to another one. So if they had the fan, they should have known that this is the problem that they would create. That's maybe what they wanted. They want me to talk about it. I'm only talking about it because there's strange things going on in that store. It's very likely somebody else brought it, but at that point they would say out of stock, like all the other stores who don't have it in stock say. So the item probably really did get stolen out the store, but who knows when and by who. It's a great product. I'm so thankful I was still able to get it. I believe it's a research and development product for Ryobi, and it's actually exactly something that that's another thing. Like, I don't know if the universe is just answering my every wish and my dream and my need and command, but I asked for this specific fan because we right now we live in earthquake country. There's always the possibility. I don't know if you've ever been through a blackout that's lasted several hours in the heat, where you have no power, no fans, no nothing, right? Can't open the fridge because everything's gonna go bad. So if you've ever been in a situation like that, you might think about these things. So for one of the things that I wrote down on my list of things I wanted to do this week was earthquake preparedness, blackout preparedness. So I wanted to get together kits for those things, which is what made me look at my water, which is what made me think like, oh my gosh, is this water feeding mold in the wall? Because I have a storage of water that's capped and sealed, but right next to it, I noticed spots that were not there, maybe not there before, which is what prompted my call to the health department, because I'm not getting action from my real estate management company. So, um, all of this stuff, right? Like we have all these sinkholes, all the poo-poo water. People are getting the cyclo. Oh, we'll talk about that too really quickly. I had, I think, a bout with it. And I think it came from either brushing my teeth with the shit water or drinking out of a cup that I rinsed with it. And I don't know if the diarrhea is in, it, like, I don't know if the sickness coincides with how much of the stuff that you consume. But mine was one day, one little runny poop, and it's in my system, out my system, it's gone, we're done. And now I'm more careful. Like when I go to brush my teeth, I'm going to use my distilled water over the sink water. And then, I'm going to, instead of, I have to wash my dishes with the regular water. So I wash my dishes, but I dry them out now so that there's no standing water left in the dishes. And then what else? Like, so much stuff. So the fan, let's talk about research and development. It's a company I own stock in. Obviously, they have all kinds of people asking for products to be made. But it was like 2 nights ago, I had just thought, like, that's exactly what I need. I need an oscillating fan. I have an old Dyson fan where the cord is cut, so I can't use that because I don't want to test the electrical circuits in this building. I know I can fix the cord. I can take it to a professional to fix it. But at the same time, that particular Dyson fan draws a lot of energy. And I don't know how helpful it would be. Also, it has an internal filter that I haven't been able to fully clean. So I don't want to start that up, have it suck in mold spores, and then not be able to clean it. So that fan's going to stay there. The fan that I have that I picked up from Ryobi is a 18 plus fan, and it is a hybrid. So it operates on a plug or a battery. And I also got extra batteries because I do believe we're going to have an event that requires me to use this coming up soon. So in my effort to stay prepared for these events, this was an essential item for my home, not only to help me control airflow and humidity. Mainly I got it because once I can confirm that there's no mold in here, it's going to go in the corner of my apartment that has the worst airflow, and it's just going to oscillate so that we get all the hot air out of that corner, and it goes in front of the dehumidifier so that the only air inside of my apartment will be dry air. And like, there is no better product than this, but I can see how it will, I can already see points of failure in it, which would make it so that they wouldn't produce it. So I'm very thankful that I got a limited edition product. They may go on from here, wait for these items to get complaints so that they can refine their design. But I think it's an excellent design. The only thing that I have to say about it is if it has to go on the ground or a solid flat surface, because it's topple heavy. It will topple over easy due to the fact that it's an oscillating fan, and the numerous adjustments make it so you can easily throw it off base. But you can hang it from a door. You can hang it from the Ryobi Link system. It's a great product. All of their products are great. That's why I own stock in the company. You should too. They pay dividends. So advice from a non-crackhead that you guys are going around trying to portray as a crackhead. UPS pays dividends, and so does Ryobi. There's a lot of other people that pay dividends. And if you really are interested in securing your future, you should go look and try to get a stock in a company that pays dividends on every single day. So I think there's certain companies, you can find out the schedule of when they pay dividends. so that you can get them every single month, every single week, whatever it is. Um, and just buy your stocks that way. You're like buying future money for yourself. Imagine that. I think one of my biggest stock losses is, well, I I like to buy stock for the things that I like to consume. But then what happens? Those things tank. Like I got Beyond Beef stock, motherfucking shit tanked. I probably lost $6,000 on Beyond Beef, but because the reason I got Beyond Beef was because we have too many people in our world for our food supply to support our food, our population. So we will have to go towards engineered meats, and that was a company that I thought made the best engineered meat. I also liked it because of their contracts that they had with certain fast food suppliers. But coming from someone who has given up on fast food, I can now understand why my stock is not doing as well. We are in an economy, our times are shifting towards health. The stuff that I'm seeing now on the social media is people are doing hand pressed juices, cold juices, real, actual real fruit, cane sugar, motherfucking real shit. Everything inside it you can pronounce, you know what it is. So that goes towards me talking about the Otter Pops. I went to the restroom today. I took a shit. And that's how I know it wasn't violently explosive, so I don't have the diarrhea stuff. I was able to clear that out. Thank you. Today still, I have a little bit left of it. I'm drinking a probiotic. It's a lemon ginger probiotic, and that might be helping me. It's fighting the bad stuff in there. And then, what else? Oh, the Otter Pops. Let's talk about the Otter Pops. So the only thing in my diet that has changed as of this week, as far as what I'm consuming, is the Otter Pops that I got. And they are, I read the ingredients, and it has, I think, some of the same stuff that's in deodorant. Like it's a preservative, sodium benzoate, whatever. Some other things. And when I used the restroom, it smelled like a homeless person's restroom experience. And what that makes me think is that's the smell from my excrement is coming from the ingredients in the Otter Pops that I don't normally consume. So a good way to make yourself into a stinky homeless person is to continue eating food with stuff that you can't pronounce. On Friday morning, I had a beet juice that was delicious as fuck. The only things I say, it reminded me, and that's because it's beets, of dirt. It's root. Beet is a root vegetable. So it tasted like dirt. What are roots? What do roots do? Roots filter the water. So what does a beet do? What does drinking beet juice do? Beet juice filters my blood. Once it enters my body, the nutrients from the beets are going to act in the same way as they do when it's a full plant, right? Because the lady cold pressed the juice. It has all the pulp in it, is just micro, fine. So that's able to enter my system, and that itself was detoxing me. So that may be some of the reason why I didn't have the skooky poopies any more than one day. You self-medicate. When you're feeling sick, if you're still of a healthy mind, body, and soul, your body's going to ask you, it's going to tell you, as you walk by something that it needs, you need that. So as I walked by the juice lady, my body told me, you need that. And I got it, and I needed it, and I did. And immediately I felt the effects. So I think beets have B12 in them. I'm not 100% positive, but one of the things that I noticed immediately, like a pep in my step, 2 sips in, 3 sips in. Ooh, the first sip was like, oh gosh, I forgot this is juice. The second sip was like, it's actually really tasty. Third sip was like, I'm going to finish all of this shit in the next 3 sips. So by the time I got to the third sip, I could already feel my energy increase, natural energy increase. It wasn't uh, like artificial zoomies. It was just a feel good happiness skip. I like literally started skipping, I think, by the time I got to my third step. And so proceeded, went about the morning. But when I got back to my apartment, I don't know if it's the toxins in my apartment. I think it has something to do with it. But I went from feeling really good to not so good to, oh my gosh, I think I have to lay on the floor. And on Friday, I ended up taking the day off of work just to sleep because I didn't feel good. And I don't think it had anything to do with the juice. And I think it had everything to do with the condition that's inside of my apartment. So it was on Friday at 3 p.m. that I woke up and I decided to take action because I'm not getting a response from the management company. On Friday in the morning, after I had decided I wasn't going into work, I messaged the management company to let them know, like, there's a big issue in here. And then when I hadn't heard back from them, right, since I didn't hear back by 3 p.m., you got 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., workday's done. It's going to be a whole weekend. It's another 24 hours with nobody taking action on a moldy situation. So I called the health department to start the clock on the 30 days of whatever it is, because they keep fucking around. What I will say is, whether the people that they claim are really inspectors or not, I don't believe them to be the correct inspector, because the correct inspector would properly identify themselves. They, depending on how big of a company they work for, they would maybe show up in either a company truck or with a uniform, right? Because who wants to bring mold spores into their house? I believe a plumbing company may use something like a laundry service to care for their linen so that their employees are not responsible for making sure that they're hygienic, right? So there's certain things that didn't make sense. I understand you could probably send a regular handyman to fix a mold problem, but not mold remediation. We need remediation here. This is beyond. What they wanted to do, they wanted the guy that they sent, the guy that I met out front, because I sat out front one morning. I started out front at 7 a.m. to make sure I didn't miss his ass. So at 8 a.m., when they came to play around on the box and pretend like they were calling me and do whatever they wanted to do, I had to get up from my little swingy chair and tell him, hi, I'm over here. I'm right here. Don't walk away. Don't leave. I'm the person you're trying to call right now. And if you're not a mold inspector, we don't need to do this visit. And he said, oh, give me a second. He called the management company, spoke with whoever, and then on camera came back and told me, we're going to redo the appointment. Okay. So, we still have not had we had a moisture test. That's not a mold inspection. I could tell you moisture test with the humidity meter right now. It says 49% in my current space right now. I have humidity sensors in my bathroom and in my kitchen and on one of the walls in the area over here where I sleep at. And then I have this one that I just bring around with me in whatever area I'm in, depending, just so I could test the area. So I'm very well aware of the moisture levels in my apartment. It has everything to do with the temperature and time of day. So what it is there's a leak that is so small that it is still consistently feeding a mold population, but not enough for it to overgrow. The only time the mold population overgrows is on a hot day when humidity is high. So not in the afternoon. It's going to make you feel sick in the hours of like 4 a.m. when the humidity is at its highest. And that's exactly what's been happening to me. 4 a.m., even my cat comes, and it's like, I understand that's the cat's schedule, but I have been able to have my cat adapt to my work schedule. So she knows that she's going to get fed by 7 a.m. So she doesn't get up at 3 a.m. and come bother me. But for the last week or so, since the weather has been hot, she's been sitting on my chest at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And I don't know if it's to check and make sure if I'm alive or what, or if she's trying to warn me, like, you got to open the window, guy. Because she has also adapted a new windowsill place, which puts her in a corner that is least likely to have mold. She has a house in the corner of my apartment that is covered by curtains, so even with all the fans going, there's a very limited amount of dust that gets over there, and I think she has put herself in the position with the least mold. So when I get woken up by my cat and then she retreats to her least moldy spot, it is concerning, but it wouldn't be concerning to a dumb person or people who don't pay attention to the behavior of animals. My cat does not want to die. She's going to do everything possible to live. So if that means she's going to come here and lay by the only open spot where air is passing under my door from the front, that means that there's a situation in my apartment that's unlivable, uninhabitable. My cat is telling me. So now we got 30 more days. 30 more. Is it business days? God damn. I just got to wait for the letter. That's another problem. So my situation, should it not be a conspiracy, is ultra weird because whatever things that have happened to me have made it so that I have had to open up a P.O. box away from my apartment because mail was being tampered with while I live here. Credit cards were not received when they should have been. Just certain things, right? Mailboxes are broken open. And then that reminds me of what they said to me. They're not doing anything to me that I haven't done to someone else. So a broken mailbox, mail theft, right? When I was a juvenile, what I got arrested for, it was a federal crime. It had to do with mail theft and check fraud. But I served my time on that. I went through everything. I did it through the end, and I'm not that person anymore. But let's say you get put on a list that the state or someone in the state government knows about, and let's say that person's a criminal, and they're looking for people to help their crime ring, right? Oh, who's the perfect candidate? Oh, look at this bitch. She was a ward of the state. She never got her record expunged. The reason I never got it expunged is because that's not me anymore. I don't care if you find it. I feel like getting it expunged would be me hiding it. I don't want to do that. I don't want someone to come up and be like, oh, everything's crystal clear and all, but we got access to this. Like, no, I want everything to be fully visible, fully transparent, so you can ask me about it. And then you be the judge of how you want to proceed. But anyway, so my belief is if this were to be a setup similar to Arizona, it has something to do with the court system. My name being on a list of potential patsies, I guess you could call them, because I have been identified by the GATE program as intelligent, but before I could get out of high school, I set myself up for failure by committing crimes, which is why I operate in the way that I do, is because I know that those crimes, those were setups. That's not me. I operate in the way that I do because the person that people see on paper as far as my record, whatever clicks, curts, whatever the systems are that they use, you would expect me to have a different adult life. But my mom did regain custody of me. Like when I was released from juvenile hall at 18, I think there's someone at the state who still thinks that I'm the state's property, but I did get released back to my mom. At least to the best of my knowledge, that's what should have happened. So at 18, I just become my own. That has nothing to do with my mother and nothing to do with the state. But supposedly, like, that's why the state paid for my first 2 years of college, because I was a ward of the state. And let's see, what else? So what I want to say is the people who have the most knowledge about me would be the state of California. And the court system within the state of California has knowledge of crimes that I committed in the past. And if the GATE program is a state program, right? Federal program, state program, which is it? It's a federal program that's been loaned out to the states to collect the people. I don't really understand. But regardless, just having my name on those specific lists leads me to believe that all of my jobs, all of everything, all of the harassment, anything that makes me come onto YouTube and sound like I'm crazy is the result of a conspiracy. So let's investigate California juvenile court systems. The judge, if I go back through and find my inch thick, it's like this thick stack of juvenile paperwork, I'm going to get the judge's name. And I want whoever it is that's using all my information to go take out these crime rings, I want you to look into this judge, because it's the judge that got me in this position. Between the judge and my brother, right? So let's talk about it. In New Mexico, what do they call it? It's the DWI investigation, where the cop is like, we're going to give you a ticket, but if you call this attorney, he could get you out of it scot-free. $8,000. That's all. $7,500 if you pay cash. It's the same type of shit that happened out here. So let's interview Lee Baca. Let's interview my brother. Let's interview the judge. Let's ask them about Amici's Pizza. Let's ask them about all of those things. I will be really surprised if you guys are able to put me in prison. Less surprised if you do so after more elite people fall, right? If we could get a handful more of high power, high position people to retire, to give up their careers of crime, then I think it'd be more reasonable for them to finish up their setting me up and putting me in jail. Like, they would have more reason to, right? Imagine a lifelong criminal getting taken out by one dumb fucking smart girl. Not just one criminal, a lifelong network of criminals getting taken out by a girl you tried to make schizophrenic. It's not just me, though. I'm working with every single other gate kid right now. We are connected in an astral plane. So every time I get a video from another healer that says, check your spam messages, it lets me know. That was intended to make me, what? Think about things that I've done? Zero. What did you get from that? Zero. Nothing. Bill. The stuff that I watched when I was with Bill. Bill used to watch all kinds of porn. That's where you get lost when you go to a porn site. The closest to porn I used to try to watch is a scrambled TV. Right? Cinemax, Showtime, Cinemax. Right? That was the closest to pornography I ever got. And then they started making it with me. And then their network started making videos with me in it and posting it on the dark web. So, yeah, I really don't mind, because that's your life. You're going to go out with that life. Like, watch these people as they get arrested. How stupid the dumb look on their face. It is the school for feeble-minded people. Y'all need to go to it. The funniest thing is, that's where they wanted me to be at, and I'm like I'm the headmaster. I'm the one who's telling you how stupid you are. Like, I don't even know how to describe this anymore. Put together this motherfucker right here, and then come get at me and tell me I'm fucking crazy. If you can put together this motherfucker in its completion, that motherfucker too, not as hard, but if you could finish that one, right? If you could get it together and look all right, get at me then.